Hey everyone, this is Sean. I'm here again with my Great Cave Defensive Let's Play. For those who haven't seen the first episode, I'm basically just talking about sort of what I think about the design of the game, what comes to mind, I guess, as I play through it. So we just finished the jungle area, and now we're in this sort of cave system, and what's interesting is now there's a lot of like non-linearity and everything, so it lets you go to 3 places. We'll go on the left first, and this is sort of like this vertical, like, flooded sort of like cave area. So I think it's interesting because it's kind of like it's a completely new way of exploring an area, I guess, because there's more of a focus on like this verticality and this weird way of swimming with these like floating waterfalls, which is something I like. What's interesting though is that I guess this is mostly done for effect, because with Kirby, right, you don't have a limit on how much you can like go upwards. So in that way, I think that's why a lot of the puzzles and stuff are sort of based on finding the right ability, rather than a lot that relies on movement, because, or at least vertical movement, because you're never able to because you're always able to go as high as you want, whenever you want. And that's something that's, I think, worth thinking about a game when you're first starting to make it, is sort of how did these, absolutely basic like movement mechanics affect the game. And I think that's something that people are doing more now. But, if you can't get it right first, then it's not going to be very right much later. And I guess something I don't really like so far is that the placement of some of these treasures, like that one right there, there's nothing really interesting about it, it's just kind of there. And it's reminding me of this game that I was just playing. It was in the last Humble Mobile Bundle like a few days ago, called Sortigo. And 1 second. My mom's calling, I'll call her back. What's frustrating about some treasure placement is that it seems kind of, I guess, meaningless, because often what they'll do is, they'll have a little, like, a pit that's usually bottomless, but you can sort of see a ledge at the bottom of it, and if you go down there, there's kind of a few more steps, and it'll take you to, like, a treasure box. And, there's nothing really interesting about it and how it's being hidden, and there's nothing interesting you do to get there, and, it kind of just seems like a waste, like it's just wasting your time, especially because the treasure is not very useful. It's like, money or something. Nunchucks. And speaking of like useless treasures, I mean, even though the treasures here the money doesn't have any value, it's still a way of measuring progress. And while I don't think it's ideal, I would like there to be some other layer of death other than just like treasures you find which just don't have any use. It's still better than, just some throwaway item you can put anywhere. It's like, it's like if you're gonna take time to put treasures in your game, then you should really, just put some thought into it in terms of like what your treasures are being used for. play, it's sort of I mean, it's kind of a fun game, but it's pretty, like, just worthless, I guess is the word. Like, it doesn't try to do anything new, and, like, it literally, like, it seems like it was the first thing we thought of for the story. Okay, well, I'm not gonna complain about it, but it's very generic. There's some really bad level design, at the end of some, like, tedious section, there'll be this, like, boss, but, you know, the boss is floating around in the air, and you can't hurt it, because you can't jump high enough, and the only way you can hurt it is by, you know, using this magic attack, but you only have so much magic power, so when you run out of magic power, you have to wait for the boss to, like, shoot its, like, stupid attack, like, 3 times it'll never hit you, because sometimes the attack will drop, like, you know, magic healing potions. And so it's just like a really big waste of time. It's something I think to keep in mind is like, don't waste the player's time with like stupid shit. Like, you know, a game that I think seems like a waste of time but respects the player's time as like Starseed Pilgrim. A lot of Starseed Pilgrim is kind of, if you haven't played it, well, you should go play it. But it's basically about using seeds to traverse 2D space, and you kind of get better at it as you play longer and longer. And there's this way of, so the more seeds you have, the more likely you are to be successful in the game, I guess. But you can grind for seeds by sort of playing through an area many times. And it can seem like it's wasting the player's time, but apparently, you know, if you play long enough, you can get much better at getting seeds faster, and so you're not really wasting the player's time, whereas, you know, in the case of, say, like, some boss in a platform where you have to continually wait for its attacks, then you're just, there's nothing good about it, I guess. What's weird is that, about this game, is I haven't played it in a really long time. But I still remember some of the treasures. So like that summertime thing. Fuck, okay. Let's see, I got texted by someone. Okay, it's just my mom telling me to put something in the back door to insulate it. Okay, so I don't really care about score, so I'm going to skip that, but there's a treasure in that horizontal section. For the sake of the video, I just want to, you know, get as far as I can, talk about as much as I can. Yeah, so in the previous video, I was kind of like complaining about there not being much sense to the world. And I know that's kind of weird coming from me because of how dreamlike Anodyne's structure is, and I suppose it's okay because if they're just going for a totally dreamlike feel to the game without much meaning to it, and I think that is the case with Kirby, which is fine. You know, I don't know, maybe I can't, yeah, like, they've done a good job of making everything feel dreamlike, you know, because there's this, you know, surreal juxtaposition of areas, like an underground jungle, and then a minecart, and then this cave system. You know, who structured these caves? Who made all these items? Who put the items here? Why are these bosses here? And you know, you can kind of write that off to just it being a game, but if you think about it in the context of sort of representing what a dream could be like, I think you can learn a lot from it. Especially if you compare it to a game that's, you know, not at all like dreamlike. And you know, when you have that knowledge in mind about like sort of about, you know, what aspects of something are dreamlike, then I think you're in a good position to take those ideas and incorporate them into a work of your own, where you use those dreamlike aesthetics and, you know, mechanics in order to express, you know, some sort of theme or idea about anything really. So I think there's the boss room. But I guess I'll find another treasure. Probably something down here. And so if you've noticed, you know, while there's a sense of like non-linearity to these levels right now, there's not really any complexity, or there's not much complexity. By that I mean, you know, you go to there's 3 levels. You can go in the water place, you know, the vertical place, or this orange cave, but you know, you can't really get lost within them, and that'll change in the next area. Sort of like this castle place, which is just a fucking nightmare. Well, it was a nightmare, maybe it's not as much of a nightmare now. Okay, so speaking of bosses, you know, I'm not that experienced with boss design, but I do appreciate, you know, some of the bosses. Kirby. Especially this one, this is really inventive. So it's basically like fighting a program, and the presentation of everything is interesting. Again, I don't think that, I mean, it's, you know, works sort of the dream-like fantasy feel of Kirby, but, you know, it doesn't really do anything, or the boss design isn't really interesting outside of being an interesting boss, or outside of making the game more fantasy-like. That is, there's like a lot of, not wasted potential, but, you know, the only connection to the world this program has is that it makes things feel fantasy-like, and there's no other connection to any sort of ideas or any mechanics in the game. It's just sort of like an obstacle to kill. Okay. And this boss also makes you wait a lot. But I think it's okay because it's done in this clever context of sort of being like an RPG fight. This is worthless. Oh, and it even... Yeah, so speaking of violence, I might write about this later. Okay, great. Yeah, I bet whoever programmed this was feeling really funny. The tenderness points, happy smile points. I wonder if that's like a little poke on, or like making fun of sort of the ridiculous abilities you can get in RPGs, but I'm not really sure. Okay. So, yeah, so violence in games, as you can notice, pretty much the main mechanic of Kirby is killing stuff, which, you know, might seem kind of paradoxical because of how friendly he is, but everything in the game and finding stuff centers around, you know, killing things or destroying things. That's fine. It's fun. I like games like that. But, you know, I think it's good to keep in mind. I think, sort of, you know, is this level of violence something that I want in my game, or how does it affect the game? That's something you want to think about really early on in development, I think, because you can't change it once you're too far down the line. Nothing wrong with violent games, of course, it's just that it's kind of the norm in a way, and there's other things you can do with games, and like a lot of platformers are about killing stuff. So, like, any platform, almost platforms. I mean, not like Knit or something, or but most of the time it's like killing stuff, you know, not destroying stuff that's in your way, and I wonder why that is. I think it's like there's like some sense of wanting to destroy stuff as a human, or like just kill things, and that's kind of sublimated because, you know, we need to have a society, and if you kill each other, you can't really have that. Something about power, and anyways. So yeah, thanks for watching. The next episode we will go to the castle. And I wish the castle was as beautiful as that background. The nice sort of like rippling lake next to a forest. In fact, I find that one of the most nice things about this game so far, actually, that little small window. Just because you can never go there, but you're wondering where it is or what it is, or why does it look so nice. Yeah, stuff like that can really build a world. Just little details that people could notice. But then again, you might want more explicit details as well, because people tend to pass over things really quickly. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.